Hello and welcome to today's LOL Esports Roundup plus CBLOL Finals preview video. I figured I'd combine them. I don't know if I'm going to do LJL or LLA tomorrow. I understand I didn't do the PCS, but I'm trying to fill content and we have some significant news to talk about, so I didn't want to only talk about that news. I also wanted to discuss something else in this video. So if you're a CBLOL fan, we'll get to that. The news, Teddy. Yes, T1 Teddy, Janair Greenwings Teddy, has signed with Live Sandbox, who finished in the playoffs in the LCK this spring split. Teddy is replacing Envy. Envy, I thought, did well. I thought he did fine alongside Cal. Now, Sandbox left a lot to be desired, but I personally don't think this move gets them over the top. Envy had a 3.1 KDA, 9.5 CS per minute, 64.9 KP. Those are all solid numbers. He is LCK worthy, in my opinion. 545 damage per minute, 27.7 damage share, 23.8 gold share, 4 solo kills in 51 games. This includes regular, spring split, and playoffs. 130 gold up on average at 15 minutes, a handful of CS, and down 20 XP. We recall Sandbox did very well last summer with Prince. That is followed up by Envy's performance. Now Envy is out and Teddy is in. Teddy's numbers when he was with the Kwangdong Freaks last year, mind you, these numbers are kind of skewed. The most common champion that he played was Senna. So his numbers are a little nerfed in some areas because of that. 3.2 KDA, 8.5 CS per minute. That's the big one, right? 73.8 KP. So a lot more involved with the Freaks last year than Envy was with Sandbox this year. Obviously different metas and different champions used, etc. But that's a big difference. Less than 2/3 versus 3 out of 4. I mean, Teddy was, integral to the Freaks' success if they had any in summer. 477 damage per minute, 27.7 damage share, so the same amount of damage towards the team. 24-1 gold share, 7 solo kills in 42 games. Similar to Envy, he was only up a little bit of gold, 100, a couple CS, and down 40 XP. So why do I think this move isn't improving them? Because I thought their bot lane was their best part. Like, Birdall had some good moments, but also he had int moments, which a young player will have, and relatively inexperienced player, Willer, finally getting an opportunity. I thought he did very well in the jungle, but there are also inexperienced moments for him. As far as mid lane, closer, mixed bag as well. And I felt like the bot lane was their most consistent part. Now, against the best bot lanes, they did struggle at times, but I felt like, for the most part, that was their best lane. So to put Teddy in there, I think Teddy adds a veteran presence as his team did not have at all last split. All these players, we have a former sub, closer who isn't very old, but he's been around. He's young, but he's played a couple years. And then Cal, who is one of the youngest supports in the world, and a head coach in Ryu that never was a coach, head coach before this past split. So Teddy brings experience, but I don't think it actually adds up to anything in the win-loss column. Now, CBLOL Finals preview. We have Loud and Pain Gaming. I'm going to eventually do an MSI 2023 preview after next week or whenever. The winner of this is, between Pain and Loud. They've played 6 times this year, 2 best of ones, and then a 4-game series in the playoffs. And Loud have won 4 of the 6. In terms of my control stats, it's about 60-40, Loud ahead of Pain. Loud did perfect game Pain in the playoffs, which I think is impressive, but it's pretty much 60-40 otherwise. So it's not as lopsided as people would like to make it out to be in terms of, the wins and the losses. I mean, in terms of control, this is how it looks. Now, when it comes to the matchups, in top lane, we have Robo and Wizard. Robo went 21, 18, and 27 for about 24% of the team's damage. And Wizard, very similar, 18, 18, 24, and 27%. So, yeah, that's right. That's roughly, the damage share. So top lane is actually second most damage out of these lanes. The mid laners taking a back seat to the top laners, which I find interesting over a six game period. Jungle, Croc, 13, 15, 51, 14% of damage. Against Carrick, 11, 23, 41, 12%. So very facilitator oriented. We saw Croc at last Worlds on Loud. Robo as well. Robo was even extended major region offers from what I understood after the split. I had heard some rumors that was the case. So we'll see, how Loud do this weekend. Tinones, one of the most storied mid laners in Brazil, if not the most storied. He is, I think, behind BRTT in terms of like notoriety from CBLOL, in my opinion. 18, 10, 41, 20% of damage. That is very low, right? 20%. He is 100% facilitator at this point in his career. Din Cueto, 16, 11, 29, 27% of damage. So similar to Weezer, we have a good split here where maybe, sometimes top carries, sometimes mid carries, where with Loud it is more Robo that is involved than Tinones. Now, where there's a big difference is bot lane. So bot lane, they have two LCK imports. We have Root and Bvoy. Bvoy has kicked around, as has Root. I think Root had actually just returned to the game, if I recall correctly. Excuse me, I combined the bot laner. So we have Root and Seos. Seos being the support for Loud at Worlds. They combined for a 33, 21, and 96 KDA with 42% of Loud's damage. So 40% of their damage is coming from the bot lane, which is good. That is the carry, right? That we clearly see that the carry for Loud is down there. I did try and roughly gauge how these lanes do in the first 15 minutes. And over these 6 games, Loud's bot lane had like almost a 10 CS, 9 to 10 CS advantage on average, which is significant. We're looking at quite a bit of gold there. And where the other 3 lanes were much, much closer, there wasn't a big difference when you take all 6 games into account. As far as Bvoy and damage are concerned, they went 19, 33, and 67 with 38% of damage. So almost 40% as well. So we're seeing a big difference here in, a big difference in KDA for the bot lane. But then the damage spread, it's a lot more focused in bot for Loud versus where Pain is more spread out. We got the 2 solo lanes at 27% and then the bot lane at 38%. So, from an outside perspective, I feel like the bot lane is what is doing everything for Loud, and it's a matter of stopping that. I know people in the comments have said things about Root being like super, super good, and I'm sure he does look good in Brazil, but at the same time, there is a reason why he's no longer in a major region, right? And I can't say anything. I have not watched these teams play at all. That's why I have stats on the board. I had somebody mention in the power rankings that the stats do not say this and that. And it's like, no, the stats do when you take into account all 20 whatever amount of games these teams have played this spring, right? Playoffs by themselves, maybe a different story. But when you take all the games into account, when teams suck for weeks on end, their numbers are going to struggle. So right now, Pain algorithmically is ahead of Loud, but when we look deeper at their matchups, Loud does have the advantage. So we'll see how this goes this weekend. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and thank you for watching.